And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Trichome Chasers Grow Talk Live here in our new time slot, Sunday evenings, 7 p.m. We are 10 minutes late, and I apologize. The earlier time certainly creeped up on us. We realized that we were at about 6:45, and everybody was kind of like, "Oh man, it's time for the stream. What are we doing?" So, sincere apologies about that, guys. I'm joined here by SoCal's Cannabis Garden.
What's up, everybody?
And Loki Grow. How you guys doing?
What's going on, guys?
I'm doing, man. Doing. Good to be here. Got to get used to this Sunday slot, you know?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we'll definitely have some more people popping in as we go here, but we kind of got a slim panel here tonight, which is fine. Definitely some good stuff to talk about here, though. We're going to be talking basically plant health issues tonight. So we're going to kind of cover, nutrient deficiencies, some mold mildews, grower inflicted issues, a little bit of pests if we have time. So it's going to be good stuff. We should have, Grandmaster Level will be popping in later. He's a little busy and, the usuals. So we'll be all around. But, yeah, I guess we can jump right into our garden updates here first. I know SoCal, you got your 5,000 subscriber giveaway coming up, and you're creeping right up on that 5,000, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm thinking in the next couple of days. I mean, it's just from your stream alone, I got like 22 subscribers or something like that, just from your stream alone. So thanks, Thanks, Wookiee fans. GML, I got about 20 from him, and just a nice steady amount of subscribers, so I thank everybody in chat and everybody who watches my stuff. I appreciate that.
Sure. And remind us, what are you giving away in that 5,000 sub giveaway, man?
I'm giving away an LED. This is basically a starter package for seeds. You're going to put your seeds underneath this small LED light. It's then I'm gonna give away a pack of 9-pound hammer seeds, which is the gooberry times Hell's OG. It's a 10-pack, about $110 worth, I believe, and then just some wrapper rooters to go with it to throw the seeds in there. And so 5,000 subscribers, it's gonna go to somebody. So
that's what's up, man. That's a fucking dope giveaway. That 9-pound hammer sold out. So
yeah, it's one of
the only places you can get it right now. It's sold out just about everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to know somebody that robbed somebody in order to get some. So.
Sorry, I got my dog barking in the background. I had to mute my mic for a second, but let's roll right down, man. So yeah, hey, everybody, definitely sub up to SoCal's channel. Let's help him out tonight, guys. Let's get him up to that 5,000 subs. He's got like 30 subs to go. So as soon as we can get him up to that 5,000 subscribers, he's going to drop that giveaway. The giveaway link is he has a giveaway video up on his channel. I'll go snag that link right now and post it in chat. That way you guys go over there and sub up to him, and let's get him up to that 5,000 subs, man. Let's get those, let's get this giveaway rolling, man. He's been sitting on it for a little while here. So let's get him over the hump and get it done, guys.
Yeah, I started probably 600 subs away, so I probably started a little bit early, but looks like we're going to make it.
Well, I'm going to grab that link right now and throw it in chat, but right down the line here, Monster, what's going on, bro? I saw you dropped the update. What was it, today? With that Malibu pie, man. How's the garden doing?
Oh, bro, the garden's looking beautiful, man. Really happy how the plants are looking. Just getting ready to flower them. I got to transplant them and get some CO2 hooked up in there. But everything's chugging along, looking real good, man. Everything's looking real good. Other than that, bro, just getting ready for this baby to get here. Ready to drop any day now. So I've just been kind of like on my toes and, just trying to keep up the garden and stuff like that, not slacking on that, making sure everything's good in the hood.
That's right. You guys had a little bit of a little baby scare today, right? Like thought it was happening today, right?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. But nah, he's not coming today.
Well, that's what's up, man. The garden's looking on point for sure. I was checking out your video. Definitely like what I'm seeing in there, man. You got what, Malibu pie, some baked bread too, right?
Yep. I got some Deacon's Kush and some Berry Storm by Bay Bread Genetics. looking real good, man. They're like fucking. They're like super tall. Like I guess the OG structure is coming out on them, and the Malibus are staying like very short. So I don't know if I'm gonna like do a bunch of topping on the Berry Storms and the Deacons and stuff like that, but I'm gonna have to try to figure something out because they're definitely growing taller than the Malibus. So, but yeah, everything's looking great, bro. Everything's looking great. Definitely about to try to get back into the swing of things with the videos and stuff. So I got a couple more videos planned that I'm about to drop in the next couple of days.
Or that's what's up, man. Well, fuck, man. I mean, definitely keep the videos coming, bro. We love seeing the updates from you, man. Your garden's on point. And
for sure, thanks, bro. I appreciate that, man. And yeah, man, I love doing the videos. It's just been fucking kind of hard to get them done with some situations going on, but I'm working some magic over here trying to make it happen.
So it is. And I see SoCal holding up the monster melts right there. How are those treating you there, bro? I think you're muted, dog.
Shit. I'm almost out. I thought it was one of those things where when you get toward the end of one, more shows up, but apparently I gotta go get some more. So.
It's not a subscription service. You don't get it.
Yeah, I thought it was. That's
we
what
gotta holler at them little Keebler elves, get them cookies sent through.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving right down here to Loki Grow. What's up, homeboy? How you doing over there, Loki?
I'm just regular. Had a quick night, watched Walking Dead earlier. Didn't get to finish it. Had to be here with you guys, but it's DVR. Man, that's my shit, boy. But in the garden, everything's pretty good. I got some skunk bed I just popped this week. I got some Canna genetics in there. I got that Funk OG. Got my Alien Riff. I just tossed that into flower. I'm gonna get an update soon on that.
That's what's up, man. I guess we should just go ahead and we're not going to, I don't know how we're supposed to do this, but I don't want to announce it live as far as the time, because there's people that signed up and they're going to get the time in the day. But let's just say that Horticultural Lighting Group is going to be dropping some quantum boards here very soon. If you're signed up on the email list to find out when those quantum boards are coming out, check your email because they sent one out today and you should have got it. So I know, Loki, you're about to jump on those, aren't you?
I'm not playing. As soon as I see the option to buy, I'm buying it.
That's what's up. So yeah, guys, don't sleep on those quantum boards. You see Loki killing it with them. You see Grow Mouse killing it with them. There's a lot of people that are having good results with those quantum boards, so check them out for sure.
You'll see SoCal killing them soon with them.
Well, all right, guys, let's see what we got here. So I do in my garden.
Wookiee, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. I was trying to fucking mute myself.
Oh no, go ahead, bro.
To mention real quick that I got 315 watt CMH from Grower's Choice on the way, and I just wanted to give them a quick shout out because I will be testing it on my channel. So be uploading some videos for everybody to see how the CMH is working out in Monster's Garden. So I'm geeked up about it. I'm excited to get the light and get it hung and get it running. So you guys will be seeing that soon. But that's all I wanted to add.
I see people in chat are saying that I'm having audio problems here, and I apologize if my mic is not sounding right. I got a whole new setup, as you can see here. I got a new mic and a mixer and all this stuff, so I'm still sorting out the issues. Hopefully it resolves itself here. I'll try to pull things to fix it, but I apologize for that. Hopefully we'll get it fixed and it'll be better soon. But yeah, just to touch real quick on my garden, I got we're on like week 2 or week 3. I think it's like day 26 or 27 today. Everything's looking fucking great. Just trying to control the stretch of the dark plasma. It's gotten way too high as usual, so doing a little bending, you know what I'm saying? But we got it under control. I'll have an update. I'm gonna make a video tonight, so I'll be posting that update late tonight. You can probably catch it tomorrow morning. I'm gonna try to sort out this audio, guys. Give me 1 sec. I see people saying it's almost unlistenable. I'm sorry about that. Hang on. So you guys can just go ahead and take it over for a second.
Yeah, I was sitting here like, man, I don't want to cut Wookiee off, but that mic is killing me.
It kind of makes you wonder if it's good, if it's Hangouts or if it's actually his mics. I mean, he'll be sitting there just doing absolutely nothing, and it'll happen.
Like we were good all day, and now this.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Damn, technical issues. How it goes, man.
I see a few people in chat. Shout out to everybody in chat: Cyclops, Gromile, Joshua Steenlin, Grow Shack, Captain Conbud, Purple Haze with that wrench in there, holding it down. DC Cannabis. What's this? Just trying to read through all these names. Thank you, everyone, for coming by, though. Wookiee's going to get his mic in order, and we're going to get on to these deficiencies and plant diseases. What's going on with you guys on a Sunday night other than Walking Dead?
I'm over here rolling up some of this Vader OG right now. I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna lace this motherfucker with some bubble hash. I think so.
Lace. That's not even a good word where I'm from.
All right, guys, how's it sound now?
You got that echo on.
Yeah. No crackle, but an echo now. Yeah, well, he's messing with that. The only thing new I got good going here, new going here is I got some my ocean grown genetics showed up. I got the Obi-Wan OG Kush. Ooh, what's that, monster?
Some of the new stuff I just made that just got done drying.
Oh, nice.
This is some animal cookies crossed with dark helmet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw you post that. That's probably what I'll be getting next.
All right, how we doing now?
Yeah.
Better?
Sounds pretty good. Yep.
How's it doing in chat? Tell me if it sounds better. I might have just figured out the solution, hopefully.
Yeah, it sounds good, bro.
Sounds good. Okay. Fuck, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to catch up with the technology, man. I'm working on it. So sincerely apologize. If you guys, if it goes bad again, just let me know. It kind of just comes and goes, and not really sure what's going on with it. So we'll get it figured out, though. My bad, guys. All right, next.
Trichome lifers, they know about it.
Yeah, they know what's up, man. I'm sorry. It's all in efforts to make the stream and the content better for you guys, and sometimes you fuck up and you take a step back a little bit. So bad. Anyways, so next down the line here, guys. We want to let everybody know here, and I want to just say first how much we appreciate all the support we get from the community, man, from Trichome Chasers. You guys are all support us, and you all have always been there to, for us to bounce shit off you guys and chat, man. So we sincerely appreciate all you guys. And what you guys might notice right off the bat is we have from the community, man, super chat function open now. And the super chat function is not going to benefit us. We have it open tonight because we have a fellow community member, fellow Trichome Chaser that's in need, man, and we want to help him out. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about it. A lot of you guys, some of you guys in chat probably already know that our homie Venom grower is he's having a hard time right now. His daughter was hit by a car, and I want to read you the message he sent me today when we were talking about it. I'm just going to read it verbatim, what he kind of gave me the summary of what happened. So he said, this is from Venom. He said, our daughter was hit by a car at 50 miles an hour on February 4th, 2017. She has a spinal injury in her neck that requires her to wear a C-collar for a minimum of 4 months. She broke both femurs, both wrists, and tibia and fibia in her right leg. It lacerated her liver and completely dislodged her gallbladder. She had a brain bleed and a temporal cranial fracture on the right side. She is still struggling to recover. She has caregivers now that we have to pay for her care. So that's our homie right there, man. That's from Venom Grower. He's having a rough time, guys. We want to be able to help him out. You know what I'm saying? So we opened up the super chat function. If you guys feel, in the kindness of your hearts that you want to donate something, whatever it is, every bit helps. They're going to have a lot of medical expenses. You know what I'm saying? So we want to reach out, try to help them out. Not only we have the super chat function open now, but we are going to be doing some seed auctions on Instagram. So keep an eye out for those. And if anybody has, any beans or anything they want to donate to, that we can auction off, it's all going to 100% benefit Venom. So hit us up. Send one of us a DM on Instagram. Let us know you want to help out and you got something you want to donate. So anything that you guys can do is super appreciated. And I'm sorry, it just kind of pulls on my, what I'm saying? I got kids and I can't imagine what he's going through, man. So let's all pull together here, man, and help out the homie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if you're not going to donate money, that's just fine, but at least share the stream because it can maybe reach some people that would definitely, be willing to. So if you could just hit that share button too and the like button, that'd help out a lot.
Hey, right off the bat, man, Joshua Steenslin, much love, brother, with $100 donation, kicking it off right. That's what's up, man.
Thanks, man. Wow.
Thank you, Joshua.
Wow.
Hey, and Joshua, if you want the link, man, I'm gonna DM it to you. I'm gonna DM it to you on Instagram, bro. I don't think we sent it to you, but we meant to. And another donation from Dagnugs Grow Lab. Thank you, bro. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to pull it together here, but yeah. So that's what the super chat's for, guys. It's all going to him 100%. We're not keeping any of it. None of it's coming to our anything other than all going to Venom. Holy fuck. Captain Kindbud, $50 donation. Best wishes to Venom. $100 donation from Grow Mouse. Shamanic.
You guys are amazing. Wow.
Shamanic Apothecary. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. $10 donation from you. Greg R, $20 donation. Wow, dude, I'm blown away. I didn't think that we were gonna make that much the whole night. Holy shit! Thank you guys.
Cannabis community is strong, man.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what this community is all about right there. And I'm gonna get on here and put my donation here in just a sec. But fuck, thank you guys. Holy shit.
I'm over here looking for my wallet, like I'm trying to make a donation.
Yeah, and I want you guys to know that Venom wasn't expecting this, and he was really, they're very, very gracious and humbled by it. They're so appreciative. They didn't want to ask. This is not something they asked us to do. This is something, that we asked that we wanted to do for them, and they were very, very appreciative. $50 from Blunthumb. Thank you. That's what's up, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, man, definitely appreciate all the support from everybody, man. And, we just want to hold each other down the best way we know how, whether it's from, knowledge or, if we got to break bread for each other, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. That's what we're Trichome Chasers is here for, man. You know what I'm saying? Spreading that growers love for real.
Yeah, that's what, this is what growers love is about right here, guys. This is, what I'm saying? This is a community of people. The only thing that ties us together is the love for this plant and the love for growing this plant, man. And to see everybody come together like this is, I'm blown away, bro.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor, Wilk. I just try to do a donation, and my girl says there's something going on with my bank, so I'm gonna give you the donation for $50 outside of the super chat, and that way YouTube won't take any either, So I'll get that sent to you.
Right. Yeah, we'll get that taken care of after the stream for sure, bro.
Cool.
So $50 from SoCal. Thank you, man. Toucan Sam with a $10 donation. Thank you, bro. I'm trying to compose myself here. I can't even think, but I know we wanted to touch and talk about the SoCal Cannabis Cup is coming up. I don't think very many people on the panel here are going. I will be there personally. You guys will see me down there if you're there. But everybody in chat, throw it up if you guys are going. We'd like to definitely, get a little Trichome Chasers meetup going on, just fucking smoke one. I think that would be dope. So I know GML said there's a possibility that he's going to make it. GML. So it looks like he just popped in right now. How you doing, GML?
Good to see you, brother.
He might be just getting set up over there. Another $5 donation from Southeast D. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I could make to the cup, man. Maybe next time. Everybody's been asking me because they think I'm in SoCal, but I'm actually in Nevada.
Just figuring out my audio here. Is it working okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Another $10 donation from Farmer Hank for 20. Thank you, Farmer Hank.
Yeah, we can hear you, Gmail.
Hey, Gmail, before we start jumping into topics here, you want to
Someone's got to mute.
Someone's got to mute.
I think it's GML.
Yeah, Gmail, can you hear me, Gmail? Audio's not working, so he has a problem. He's got something going on. I'll just mute him for now until he gets it figured out. Fuck, another $100 from Loki Grow, man. Paying it forward to Venom Grower. That's what's up, guys. And $42 from Dirt's Up. Damn.
Hey there, Wook. I was having technical issues. I think it's working now.
Okay, GML. Hey, just saw you pop in here, man. Do you want to give us, how are things going up there? I saw you guys had some visitors this week. You guys were kicking it and stuff. How are things on the farm, man?
Good. I actually just dropped his and her grow back off at the airport, and they just barely made it. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You don't want to be stuck at the airport. No way to get home.
We made a bunch of rosin and had a good time. We didn't do as much video or live streaming like we wanted to do, but
I saw that rosin, man. That shit looked crazy. That was was it all Death Bubba that you guys were pressing out, or?
Yeah, it was all Death Bubba.
That's badass, dude.
Yeah, it was good.
How was the flavor on it? You don't usually make rosin, do you, or is that something you've done before? Or?
No, I haven't done it. I've never done it personally. I've had a couple other people make it from the trim tray, but man, it's good and strong, and I'm hooked now.
So you guys were pressing flowers, Death Bubba flowers?
We did with some flowers too, but it was all the heads from the trim trays.
Oh, word.
I'll throw up a couple of pictures. I took some pictures of it. And
yeah,
I just literally got to my hotel.
I saw his and hers taking pictures and stuff, man. That shit looked good.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a really good run.
I did want to announce too to you guys. I did my some of you guys are probably there. I did my 1,000 subscriber. I did a live video drawing today, basically, where we drew the winner live. And the winner is not he's not really, he's not in chat. I don't believe he's not somebody that really, I don't think he's discovered the live stream things. I'm kind of trying to get him into it. He watches them afterwards type of thing, but he's definitely one of my subscribers and said he has been for a while. He's not on Instagram or anything yet, but he said he's going to let me know if he does. We'll just call him by the part of his email, which was Zombie for Life. He won the giveaway, and he said he's a brand new grower, just getting started. So this is going to give him a good start. He's going to have some good genetics to pop, and he was super appreciative. So bringing another person into the family, man, it's dope. But I guess we'll just kind of get started on our topics here, man. The first thing I know we want to talk about, basically talking about plant health issues. We'll start with our mobile nutrients. You know what I'm saying? We'll start with the NPKs, calcium, magnesium, and I know we got a lot of different experience in here. We got 5 different people in here, 5 different growers right now, with 5 completely different growing styles. So, I guess SoCal, I'll send it over to you. Kind of what have you seen as far as your NPKs and stuff? What kind of deficiencies have you run into? You're muted, bro.
Oh, sorry about that. That's twice. Let's see how many times that happens. When I run into a deficiency, it's usually like a CalMag deficiency. Usually my plants, or especially when I switch to this Botanicare kind, it's growing so much faster than I'm used to that I had to up my base nutrient, which in the Botanicare kind is actually your CalMag. So that's mostly what I get deficiencies in. But yeah, are we just talking NPK, or are you talking CalMag too, or?
No, yeah, calcium and magnesium for sure as well. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like usually when you're low, when you're deficient on one, you're deficient on the other. A lot of the time, that's why they put it in the same bottle. So your magnesium, you're usually going to see like an overall paleness on the plant, and you're going to see brown spots on the bottom, on the lowers. Maybe you see it taking it from the edges. You might see just some round spots, and it's usually coupled with a lot of your newer growth is growing slow and it's pale. You know, your newer growth is what's going to go pale first, and that's your calcium. A lot of times when you have plants that grow as fast as they do, that new growth just can't uptake the calcium as fast as it's growing, and so it'll start to pale out. So a lot of times, you know, when you're looking for them, you know, you suspect a possible magnesium deficiency, also look for that calcium coupled with it, or vice versa. Let me keep going on NPK, or just stop there on the CalMag? Or
yeah, if you want to. I mean, unless anybody's got anything to add to calcium, magnesium. I was trying to pull up, you know, the classic deficiency chart, you know, that we've all seen. You know, that kind of the leaf pictures that are in the Grow Bible. I know that's kind of the first thing I ever looked at was, you know, using the Grow Bible, trying to diagnose what I had going on and stuff. I think I got it right here. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, I just recently had a message. I belong to a little group that, you know, anytime you have a problem, you post, you know, what your issue is. And the person said everything was going perfect until they switched to bloom, and then they started noticing a deficiency where the lowers were starting to yellow off a little bit, but mostly you know, browning. And usually when you switch your plant to bloom, there's two things that it's going to do differently. It's going to uptake more phosphorus, and it's going to uptake more CalMag. So you know, and the phosphorus can actually look like a little bit of a CalMag sometimes with that browning on the leaves.
Yeah, and the thing I see when I look at, you know, like these charts, and especially for new growers, man, and even older growers, man, sometimes these fucking deficiencies are hard to diagnose. I mean, you can just look at it from looking at these leaves here, which are just pictures that somebody drew or, you know, were rendered on a computer. But a lot of this shit looks similar, you know what I'm saying? Like it's tough. It's tough for people to diagnose some of this stuff sometimes, and especially with, you know, like phenotypic differences, strain differences. I mean, the fucking leaves look different, you know what I'm saying? And the deficiencies show up in different ways. So this shit can be tough, man. And it's something that I think once you've grown a strain for a while, you know what I'm saying, you've run it 3 or 4 times, you start to kind of know, and you kind of learn the way it's looking and the way it shows what it's going to show. But I mean, this can be a good guideline to help you out, you know, help anybody out that's trying to diagnose a deficiency. But at the same time, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because some of this stuff just isn't, you know, what it's going to look like on your plant.
Yeah.
Well, you could look. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, you could look at that and be completely wrong just because they look so similar, right? And you could treat it differently.
For sure, yeah.
Because some of those leaf colors and styles, like if you let your plants get too dry, they can go very yellow. And when you water them consistently when they're wet, they'll get a lighter yellowing too. So that's
right.
One thing that I've noticed.
And I mean, and another one that I've seen is, if we're talking about magnesium and calcium too, is I know a lot of people freak out about like the purpling of the stems. You know, like on the petole, or however you say it, on the leaf stem, you know what I'm saying? That when you kind of get that purpling, a lot of people get real panicked and worried when they see that purpling. And kind of what I've noticed, and the way I kind of grow, is I don't even pay attention to that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many phenotypes that show that genetically, from my experience, that I don't even, when I see purpling in the stems, I mean, doesn't even faze me anymore. I don't even try to pay attention to it. What do you guys think?
Well, cold water can cause a purple stem, and same with lowering the temperature also, right? Like literally overnight. So there's definitely different types of purple stems. Like 90% of them that I've seen are safe. The only time when I've seen it really bad is when like a plant there was a serious screw up and a massive lockout, and the whole stem went completely purple. But it was not the regular purple that I see, you know, from colder water.
Yeah, when you have a purple stem problem and it's going to be something that's going to really damage your plant, you'll see more than just the stem being purple. The leaves will always react too. So
yeah, and
if it's traumatic with purple stems, watch the leaves too.
I see everybody in chat giving me a hard time about the way I pronounce. I guess it's petiole. I apologize for that. Just disclaimer on this. We're talking here, guys. A lot of this is going to be bro science, man. I mean, we're growers. We have experience, but I mean, purple haze isn't in here, so we're not fucking, you know, we're not plant biologists. We're not fucking.
They were giving you like issues, you know, like instances that we've done and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, actual
sure.
in the garden.
I mean, take everything you're hearing here with a grain of salt as well. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's something that we just thought would be a good thing to bring up and talk about. And if anybody's got anything to contribute, you know what I'm saying, let us know in chat. But it's it kind of is what it is, and you got many different ways of growing, and you're going to see many different types of things. So we're going to give you our experience and our knowledge, and mispronounce a bunch of fucking words along the way. So sorry about that.
Yeah, but just to wrap up my part of it that you asked, to touch on, usually the best way to tell the best way to start out is to check your runoff. If you check your runoff at the bottom of the pot, and then you check your pH, and then you go to the chart where, the macro micronutrient lockout chart, and then match that pH up to where you're at. And that'll kind of give you an idea of where you're at, because stuff like iron and stuff like that, more locks out at higher pHs. So if you're, thinking maybe you have an iron issue, but you check your pH and it's super low, it's probably not going to be an iron, so checking your pH and then matching it up to an actual graph helps out a lot. Hey, I know that channel. Oh, we are. You mute there, Loki? Or Wookiee, you're muted there, bro.
My bad. I said I just wanted to. I was trying to get back to the page here. I was trying to see how many people we have in chat right now, but I didn't even realize I was still on screen share. But so, what about you, Monster? I mean, what have you seen over there, man? What kind of issues have you run into as far as deficiencies go?
CalMag for sure. Definitely run into some CalMag deficiencies, being that I'm in 100% cocoa. But I mean, when I run into deficiencies, like I have a foliar spray that I like to use, and it kind of clears anything up overnight. I use it's a product called Nitrozyme. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but Nitrozyme is let me see if I can show the bottle. Or I'm probably not going to be able to focus in on it, but basically what it is, it's derived from some type of seaweed, some seaweed, phosphoric acid, potassium carbonate. So, you know what I'm saying? Those are pretty heavy in micronutrients and stuff like that. And but yeah, man, I mean, it's been a long time since I've had like some real deal fucking nutrient deficiencies in my garden. You know what I'm saying? It's been a little while. But over time I do see, little bits of calcium, magnesium deficiency, especially, around week 4 to week 5 in flowering. And another time I noticed the deficiency as well is right after I transplant like young clones. I'll notice that if I don't really supercharge the cocoa with some CalMag, that they'll get a little bit of some spotting, some rust spotting. You know what I'm saying? Lets me know that.
You brought up a couple good points here that I want to kind of touch back on and bring you back to. Well, the first one was that you were talking about cocoa, and you were talking about how since you're in cocoa, you see a calcium issue, and I've experienced the same thing. And I think kind of what I've learned just from my experience is that it's almost like the cocoa is eating up the calcium in itself, right? And to me, what I've noticed is that it's almost like a tank that you got to fill up. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as you start using fresh cocoa, it's like it's going to suck up all that calcium, or anytime you transplant, it's going to suck up all that calcium that you put in your reservoir or hand feed it or whatever. And once that tank gets filled up, though, you know what I'm saying? Once that cocoa gets saturated with calcium, then it comes more available to the plant. Is that something you guys have noticed too? I mean, I could be way off base here, but just kind of, from my experience, something I've noticed.
No, you're right on point. Well, you're right on point. I think it like the cocoa like binds the I don't know if it's fucking calcium, but it might be the magnesium. It binds some type of nutrient, and I think that's what is responsible for that.
For sure. And I see Chronicle Goes saying calcium and magnesium are separate elements. And yeah, Yeah, there is no such thing as a CalMag deficiency. I mean, just so we're clear, there's not. It's either a CalMag or magnesium. It's possible you could have both at the same time, but a lot of people refer to it as CalMag because, there's products like the Botanicare CalMag that they sell. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny too, how we fucking always assume it's like CalMag deficiency. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's because like we just reach for the CalMag bottle when we see
because the bottle says CalMag.
Right.
That's the simplest solution to why people think it's CalMag. You grab for that CalMag bottle, so you're not thinking I have a calcium deficiency. It's only a calcium deficiency. More than time, we're giving the plant more than it needs, especially when you're living off a bottle. Because I know there's going to be somebody in the chat that is no-till, and they're going to say, feed Mother Earth, and you have no problem. I respect that, but not everyone knows how. Like me, I don't have anything against it. I just don't know how. So for what I do know how to do, I know how to grab that bottle of CalMag.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have any no-till growers. I thought Blunt was going to get in. He might not got his equipment set up. He's been busy. He doesn't have his equipment ready to go. But I would like to hear from no-till grower Joshua if you want to jump in, man. Did somebody send him the link, or let me try to send him the link. But we definitely would like to get some because that's one of my questions. My biggest questions. I'm very interested in no-till, and one of my biggest questions is what you do when you see a deficiency, and I don't even know how you'd react to that. So I'm going to send a link over to Joshua and see if he wants to jump in.
Yeah, I'm curious as that as well. Word.
Yeah, because for me, when I gotta think of it a little bit differently than the way I think of it, because when I see deficiency, I can usually tell what it is because I was doing it for a while. But for like a new grower, when you see deficiency and then you look at like the chart Wookiee put up, it can so easily throw you off. You really need to, consult, different growers that, that you trust, and, throw up some pictures and let them comment on it. And, check that runoff, and, that's really going to tell a lot. The runoff is really important, that pH in the runoff. Because that'll cut half of your ideas of what you can think it can be in half. A lot of them don't lock out at pHs that others do. So once you check your pH, you can find out. You can eliminate a lot. You may not be able to tell for sure what it is, but you can eliminate a lot.
Yeah, so that's another chart I wanted to pull up. I'm going to get it pulled up here in a second, though. But the kind of the pH, lockout chart. Let's see if I can get it pulled up here.
Heard of a slurry test. Yeah, I've heard of a slurry test. I don't really know how to explain it, but I definitely have heard of a slurry test.
I think that's where you take like the soil and you get it wet or something like that. You grab it and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you're basically squeezing it out of the soil, and then you're checking your EC and your pH of that. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Lucky says explain pH runoff and what number I'm looking for and when. I think it's going to kind of depend on if you're running organics in with your synthetics like I am, because I'm running like Pure Blend Tea and stuff like that. Those organics are going to break down, and my ppms are going to be through the roof. So it's not going to get an accurate reading on what your synthetics are. So for me, I just go more by pH, and because I can measure what the ppm I'm putting in, and then it's going to be a lot higher coming out because of that organics that are breaking down. But really, that pH, that pH is a lot. It just has a lot to do with it. If you are growing with mineral-based nutrients, then your ppm. If you don't have an organic input going in there, then you should be able to check your runoff and tell your ppm's pretty good from there. If you're putting in 1,000 and you're getting 1,500 out.
So you're saying I don't know if you're misspeaking on accident or something, but are you saying that you're diagnosing based on the pH value of your runoff, or the TDS, the ppms of the water?
Well, not necessarily for pH, because not necessarily diagnosing what it is, but, maybe being able to tell what it's not, um, like let's just use iron, for instance. Iron locks out at, I believe it's above 6.5. So if your pH is around 6.0 or, below 6.5, you can kind of rule out that it's going to be, an iron lockout. So, that chart will kind of tell you what can be locked out depending on what your pH is. It may not tell you exactly what the deficiency you're seeing is, but it can definitely give you an idea if, hey, my pH is, I'm running in hydro, my pH is 7.0. Let me look at the chart and see what all can be locked out at 7.0. And then you can, make a few judgment calls from there.
Okay, yeah, I kind of thought that's where you're going with it. And I got this chart pulled up right now, and you can see it's going to probably be hard to see. I don't know how big this is popping up on your screen, but you got
pretty small.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but basically you got the pH for like a hydroponic system on the left here and soil on the right.
He says Control Plus to make the chart bigger. That's what Grow Mouse says.
Oh, let's see that.
Look at Grow Mouse go, man. Someone get that man a wrench.
Oh, I think I know what he means. Hang on a second.
Just zoom in on your screen. If it's not control, it's out.
Look.
I appreciate everybody for hanging in for the show too. We're gonna get in there. We're gonna get everything dialed in. But the fact that you guys are all here is makes us all want to even get better. So thank you guys.
Okay, so it should be bigger now. Does everybody see that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
out to the mouse.
Yeah, so shout out to Grandma. Thank you, bro. But yeah, so you see you got the hydroponic pH ranges on the left for the locking out and soil on the right. This is something I'm pretty familiar with on the left here. I run hydroponics, flood and drain, and it's crazy when you look at it, what I'm saying, because calcium and magnesium aren't even available together. I mean, they both kind of become available at 5.8, but as it floats up to 5.9, calcium's not available anymore. So that's why I really stress to myself, and I've kind of put it out on my channel before, is that when I pH, set my pH, it's not a set thing that you check, that you're keeping it exactly the same every single day. So what I do personally is I try to start with 5.6. I'll go in, like let's say when I do a fresh nutrient change, fresh reservoir, I'll start with 5.6, and it's going to drift. It's going to go up over the course of the next 3 days or so. So maybe the next day it's up at 5.8, and the day after that it's up to like 6.0. And you kind of get that full range, what I'm saying? Because if you just stay at 5.6 the whole time, your magnesium is never even available to the plant. So you gotta kind of go and get the full range of things by letting it drift up and down. So you kind of start at 5.6, get up to about 6.0, and then once it hits 6.0, drop it back down to 5.6 and start it over. So at least in hydroponics, that's kind of the strategy that I've kind of been using, and it seems to work really well for me. What about you guys? Do you have any experience with that?
That's like right on what I do. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, if you're gonna start your pH out right at where magnesium's being locked out, then you're only gonna get the the benefits of the calcium. So if you go ahead, I guess that's for hydroponics. So you got the soil side on the right. So we're talking hydroponics here. If you start down at that 5.6, you're starting out with magnesium available. And then as your medium dries out a little bit, the alkalinity goes up, which means the pH goes up. And then, it's climbing up. And then all of a sudden that calcium starts to become available. And that's why a lot of bottles tell you, between 5.6, 6.2, because they're trying to get you in that magnesium and calcium range.
Yeah, and I see Captain Kindbud saying in chat that Enzyme Complete for hydro will dramatically slow the drift. I don't have any experience with that, but kind of the way I was talking about it, that that kind of that 3-day 5.6 to 6.0 drift is, I don't want it to go any slower than that. I'm saying? It seemed to work really well for me, and you get that kind of that full range within a 3-day period, which is usually, at least in flower for me, that's when I'm finding myself needing to top up. Like right now, basically at day 27, they're drinking about 10 gallons in 3 days between the the 9 plants in the tray. So I'm basically having to, top up every 3 days with about 10 gallons of water. And then when I add my nutrients to bring the ppms back up after I top off with RO, it basically brings my pH right down to 5.6 every time. So I haven't had any problems with running that little bit of a drift, and I wouldn't want to slow it down, because if I'm staying at 5.6 for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and then it comes time to top up again, it's going to be at 5.6 again, and I'm never going to get the magnesium. Phosphorus isn't available at 5.6. Kind of your best spot is 5.8, where everything's kind of there, and I guess you might be able to have better results by staying around 5.8. But for me, I've noticed the plants really like it when they get that full gamut of 5.6 up to 6.0 and dropping it back up and down. So that's what's working for me right now.
Who made this chart, by the way? Do you guys know? I was just curious. And when was it published?
Oh, that was me. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding, bro.
No, I don't know who exactly made this chart, and maybe it's a little wrong. I don't know. I'll have to see if I can find it.
Just the one thing I'm noticing that it says marijuana's proper soil range. I do it 6.3 religiously, and I guess I'm at the very bottom of the range according to this chart. And I top feed too, and I'm like, I know you guys. Everything you guys were explaining was for like a flooding system, right? Where you're feeding 3 times a day.
Yeah, that's specifically what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like Gromel said in chat, it's just why the importance of microbes. Microbes break it down and make it more bioavailable to the plant, so the plant can uptake those at wider pH ranges because it's more of a broke down form. So that's another reason probably why you can go up higher pH ranges in soil, because those microbes are making the macro and the micronutrients more bioavailable to the plant.
Sorry about that, guys. I just had the phone ring. Food getting.
What'd you think, Loki?
I was sitting here like I don't use any enzymes or anything like that. I use
enzymes.
Somebody's phone. This is crazy. That mute button. Hello? All right. I was saying.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying I don't use any enzymes or anything. I use just my basic feeding schedule with my current culture AB and the UC roots. I tried using enzymes and additives, and it just, depending on your system, my system is deep water. I have more issues, and it's more finicky, so I try to keep it as plain as possible, unless I know exactly what I'm adding.
How do you treat deficiencies? Like if you see deficiency in your room, what's your first steps?
My first thing is always my pH. My pH leads to everything going wrong. Just like that chart says, there's certain things that just get locked out at certain pH. And I've tried Blue Lab, I've tried Hannah, I've even tried Cheap Pen, and nothing has been as reliable for me as far as the drops. Recently, I had a really bad problem, and I couldn't solve it because both of my pH pens were not calibrated, even when they said that they were. So I just eventually went and bought. Yo, SoCal, please mute. Please mute it. Yeah, I was saying I went to I went and got the drops, and everything was easier to calibrate because the drops were more accurate than the pen ones.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. I had a little issue a couple days ago too, where I basically had started seeing some yellowing and stuff, and it had been a while. My check mark was gone off my Blue Lab. It had been a while since I calibrated it, so I kind of it made me. I'm checking everything. Everything looks good, so I'm like, well, let me fucking calibrate this pen. And sure enough, I had checked the pH before, basically before. I calibrated it, and it was at like 6.2, right? So then I calibrated the pen, and I checked the pH value afterwards, and the pH was coming in at 5.6. And like I told you guys, I set my pH at 5.6. So that means I was really probably setting it at like 5.0 for a couple days. So definitely handy thing to have some fucking drops laying around. Drops are much more accurate. They don't need to be calibrated. Probably look at the instructions on them, make sure you're keeping them in the proper storage conditions. But, drops are pretty reliable. Definitely keep some of those around and check it. I'm going to try to get myself in the habit of using the drops, you know what I'm saying? At least, every other time. just alongside with the pin just to kind of verify things because
it's nice reference.
For sure. And those pins can just go out of whack. You know what I'm saying? You really got to be careful with your pins on how you store them and what you know, if you got to keep the probe wet. And a lot of the Blue Lab pin, they have a storage solution that they recommend you use. So I've been trying to use that and stuff, but my pin's definitely working right. It's just, I didn't calibrate. It's my own fault. So they definitely drift.
Hey, we're back. Sorry.
I was just for anybody. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Joshua, I'm working on getting you the link, bro. I thought I added you in Hangouts here. I'm sorry. Let me get it to you. Hang on one sec.
Real quick, a little tip for anybody that has a problem with their pH pen. If you take the storage solution and you leave it in there for 24 to 48 hours, it usually gets the probe or whatever that is back on track, and then you can recalibrate it. I've had a problem where I just couldn't get it to calibrate. I put it in the storage for a few days, let it just get a little moist or whatever the storage is doing to it. I don't know what the chemical change is, but it's helped it, and I was able to calibrate my pen again. Just a little tip.
Hey, I have a question for you, Loki, and whoever else uses those drops. And by the way, I know my mic doesn't show that I'm muting, but I am muting it right here. So earlier when you told me to mute my mic, it was muted, so it wasn't me. Anyway, how do you use those drops on like litmus paper if you have a nutrient solution that's colored, you know, like if you have a green, you know, if your nutrient solution's like whatever color it is, you know, how do you test and check that out?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I wouldn't know. My solution actually comes out white. Everything is clear, so I've never had that issue where I was using it, and that's probably why I stopped using the drops before. But now that I'm using the current culture, my solution is always clear.
Okay. Yeah, because I have some of those around, but I always, you know, I know you can pH it before, but if your nutrient changes the pH, it doesn't really help.
I'd also like to just throw in that when using the Blue Labs, you really want to have the water temperature to what the optimum level is, because if you use them in really cold water, it just doesn't work very well. And you can totally screw it up from cold water and ruin it basically. And when I'm using a pH probe and after I've taken my reading, I like to put it back in either pH 7 or 4. And as soon as, right after I've taken it out of the reservoir, if it goes back to 7 and when I put it in the pH 7, I trust the reading. If I stick it back in there and it reads 7.3, I do not trust the reading. If that makes any sense. Like if it goes back to where the level it should be instantly, like sometimes it takes 15 to 20 minutes to go back. And when it does that, I still don't trust the reading personally. I always have backup brand new probes too. And in case there's ever that one day when they're not working, because they don't last forever. And I can't even tell you how many I've gone through. So yeah, I just thought I'd like to bring that up, that I find they work the best in like 68 Fahrenheit. That temperature of water between 65 and 68. And when you get into the 50s, they don't work nearly as well for me personally.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that, G. I've definitely heard that for sure.
Real quick, before we Joshua should be jumping in. I just got the link over to his email. Sorry about that, man. Joshua should be jumping in, so I don't want to move past this subject yet. But I do want to remind everybody that's just joining now, we're up to 104 people watching right now. And I just want to remind everybody, you see the super chat that we have, function that we have available, and just want to let people know that we're not accepting donations to us. All the donations in super chat tonight are going to our homie Venom grower. He's a member of our community. He's a trichome chaser, and he's going through a tough time. His daughter was hit by a car, and they're gonna have a lot of medical bills and stuff. We want to help him out, so I'll kind of read through the statement he sent us again at the end of the show for everybody. But just want to remind everybody that all donations in the super chat are going to Venom, who has he's going through a tough time right now. So just so you guys know. I see Joshua's joined us. Hey, what's up, bro? Sorry about the confusion there, man. I was trying to get you the link over there, and then I got distracted by the conversation. But thanks for joining us, bro.
Cool. Can you guys hear me? I couldn't tell if I was muted or not.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. So you guys, thanks for having me, man. You guys are talking about pH and nutrient availability. And as far as no-till, guys, or a living soil situation is concerned, I mean, you guys have heard this a lot. This is kind of our mantra, is that the soil, the organisms in the soil do the pHing for us for the most part. Now, of course, if you're using a water source, you're going to be screwed no matter what eventually over time. But living soil systems are really forgiving, and you can have some pretty crazy pH swings. And to be honest with you, I don't even check the pH of my water at all. And in the, I'm onto my fourth cycle into my no-till beds, and I've yet to see any sign of deficiency or anything. It's because there's.
And that's one thing that's really attractive to me about no-till is that kind of the ease of use and how you don't need to pH, you don't need to check ppms. I mean, you're using probably straight tap water, right? I doubt you have a RO filter or anything like that. So one of the questions I have though, that I, maybe has been answered before, but I might've missed it, is I'm just wondering, like, have you personally ever seen any, major deficiencies like a nitrogen or anything like that pop up? And if you do see any deficiencies, how do you react in a no-till environment?
So I've yet to see any kind of deficiency whatsoever, and that's because there's plenty of nutrient and mineral available in the soil, and I make sure of that by re-amending with nutrients and minerals. Here's what I'm doing. Keep it simple. Farms recommends doing it after every grow cycle. And, I respect their, kind of what they say, but being the minimalist I am, I try to stretch that. So I've been just doing it every once in a while, like, in between, like every other cycle, right? So that equals out to be about twice a year. As long as your beds are properly amended, or you've got nutrient going in, whether it's KNF inputs or whatever that you're doing to add shit to your beds to keep them viable. That's how we do it. So we just kind of like preventatively add the inputs to make sure that we have plenty. So I'm so certain that my beds are accurate, are appropriately amended, that I really feel like I could probably take my beds a full year before re-amending them. I'm just not willing to do that test.
That's crazy. I mean, that's one of the things that really I really like about no-till, and that makes me want to jump into it, is just that, you're talking about having an environment where you don't need to add anything for, like you said, for up to a year. That's insane. That's
kind of extreme. That's an extreme instance, but I'm definitely going 6 months without re-amending and not having any issues. Now, so at that 6 month marker, after that second cycle without re-amending, I just get a little nervous, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to make my bed suffer. I've been not working physically hard, but I've been putting a lot of energy into making sure that my beds are just primo. And so that's what's going to allow the plants to access those nutrients in the most efficient way and kind of as designed by nature. So once again, that's just one of those things where a lot of people are kind of scared, or I was, man, when I first went to no-till or into the super soil at first, and I realized, and I was told, and read that you didn't have to pH, I just didn't fucking believe it, and so the first few times that I watered before I got my blue mats, I was really fucking nervous, because pHing was a huge aspect of my cultivation practice previously,
right.
And so
you can't get around it.
Right. And so with the no-till, like letting go of that was difficult, man. It was kind of like when we first got our medical cards, and after years of guerrilla growing, we'd have helicopters flying over outside, and I'd still have the urge to get on the four-wheeler and hit the fucking tree line. It's just, there's these pre-ingrained kind of deals, and one of those deals was the pH and testing the parts per million of your runoff and all this other shit when we don't have runoff anymore. So
right.
Don't even worry about it. I've got hundreds of dollars worth of Blue Lab equipment that I'm just transitioning over to the kombucha biz now because it's being used there.
Damn. Well,
so question, in no-till, you have zero deficiencies, period.
Zero. I've experienced none because my beds are properly amended.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to ask
you
next.
I know you keep saying because your beds are properly amended, but let's say your beds aren't properly amended.
Well, that's the same thing I was going to ask right here, Loki, and you're kind of low, so I think he's having a hard time hearing you. But
yeah,
what I was going to ask you is we all know, we watch your channel, man. You're a pro, but let's say somebody like me, I'm getting into no-till and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and I screw it up, and all of a sudden, 3, 4, 2 weeks into flower or something like that, I'm looking and I just got all kinds of deficiencies going on or something. I mean, to me in hydroponics, the first thing I'm doing is I'm checking pH, I'm checking ppms, I'm doing it, pumping it up in my reservoir, putting in fresh RO water. What are kind of some of the steps, or where would you start if you just saw, some kind of crazy deficiency going on? What can you do in no-till?
Sure. It's a really good question. And I'm not sure if that's what Loki was asking. Like you said, he was really low, and I'd love to kind of hear if that was his question. That's great. The deal is that, because I do say if they're properly amended. And so if you just look at a basic Coots living soil recipe, it'll have the nutrient ratios that you need and the kind of nutrients that you need and the mineral ratios that you need. So when I say properly amended, I mean that you're following that living soil recipe that has all the nutrients and minerals that cannabis needs to thrive, or that any plant really would need to thrive in a living soil system. So to build a soil that you say you did not follow that recipe, and you built a soil that was lacking in oyster meal or lacking in whatever, the thing that you could do is simply top dress with that. Now, if you don't know what it is you're short of, like if you're a novice and you can't tell what the deficiency is based on the leaf problem, right? Leaf manifestation, what I would suggest to do, and the easiest way to start to fix these problems is just to immediately top dress with earthworm castings or some kind of really viable humus, or compost that's going to become a humus, because whatever trace minerals and elements are available in that compost will then be more readily available to your plant. I suggest at that point is just do a top dress of a mineral and nutrient mix, just like a blanket, because in a no-till system, you can't really overfeed your plants those nutrients and minerals because they only take what they need. So, like if you have too much, oyster shell in your mix, you fucked up and you did 2 cups per cubic foot instead of 1 or whatever, it'll just kind of sit there in your soil stationary. It's not going to cause any weird shit because the plant, via its exudates, are calling for the microbes to process the minerals and nutrients that it needs. So that's one of the other benefits of the living soil system, is that you could kind of go heavy or light with your nutrients, and if you fuck up, you just add more. And as long as you've got a living, healthy system, the plant will just take what it needs. If it was absent and now it's there, it's going to be like, oh, cool, thank you, and just take it.
So what you're kind of saying is like, it's kind of like cookies. If you leave one of the ingredients out, your cookies aren't going to turn out right. So, I mean, if you have a deficiency in a no-till situation, it's probably, user error for sure, but it's probably because you just kind of left something out or whatever, and then you can just top dress, and then that'll take care of any issue that you might have had.
Without a doubt, yeah. If you've got a deficiency in a living soil system, then it was definitely user error, and you fucked up on your inputs, because that's the whole design of the system. So if you follow the recipe to a T, you're not going to have those issues. It's just not.
So last thing real quick, is it fair to say that when you have an issue in a no-till situation with your plant, if you did, that you can pretty much guarantee it's probably not a toxicity, that it's more going to be a deficiency? Because kind of what you just said, you can't really overfeed, is kind of, to a point, you can't just pour like a whole bag of something in there, but.
Sure, yeah. If you poured a whole bag of green sand, there would be adverse effects, on the microlife and whatnot, which will in turn affect things, right? But that's going to take a really drastic, colossal fuck up the user's part to make that happen. So, yeah, basically the long and short of it is you follow a really simple like Coots recipe, or get a simple build a soil blend that has all the nutrients and minerals in there. And then a lot of these companies like Build a Soil or Keep It Simple Farms, they sell nutrient reamendment packs that have everything in it already, and you just top dress and mulch, and then that's it, and then the soil takes care of it.
And then even past that, you could always go and get a soil test for whatever soil you have. Say if you have even local soil, you can go and get that tested, find out what you have to amend to have it at the right levels, and then go and either till that in or top dress that and let that work into the soil over a period of time. There's a bunch of ways of doing it.
Shout out to Blunthumb.
Let's say you fucking creeped up on me there, Blunthumb. I feel like I haven't heard your voice in like a month, man. You've been busy, bro. How you doing?
Chilling. What up, guys?
That's fucking good to
Yeah,
have
that's
you back,
really
bro.
good info on the soil test.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go get a soil test on my stuff before I do this next round and just see where I'm at with everything. And if I have to, I'll amend a little bit. But yeah, like for instance, I heard you say that you hadn't dealt with any deficiencies really in the no-till. I, on the other hand, have just been dealing with some recently. I've been bonsaiing a bunch of mothers for longer than I should be in half-gallon pots and 1 gallon pots, and everybody hears the old adage about bigger pot, like bigger roots for bigger fruits and shit like that when it comes to organics, and how it's so critical to have a big pot size to keep the predator price cycle going and keep the nutrients flowing within the cycle. And when you're getting down to half gallons and 1 gallon pots, it gets a little difficult. But I was able to rectify, for instance, I had like a magnesium issue and a slight nitrogen issue. So, a few sprays of Epsom salt, and I think I also did a few foliar sprays of an FPJ. Pretty much fixed it.
Nice.
But yeah, I personally like, for when it comes to calcium, magnesium, nitrogen, I went in veg foliar spray those to fix any deficiencies in terms of fixing any toxicities that might happen, which I don't think I ever really remember having any toxicities, unless I just I think 1 or 2 times I might have went ham on some ferments and just got a little bit of more tip burn than I like, but no like real toxicities, like where you got fucking over fucking crazy clawed nitrogen toxicity type leaves or anything like that. But if I saw anything like that, I would just straight water a few times, But pretty much if you got your feeds on point, you're not going to be dealing with issues, even if you have a much lighter soil than, say, the Coots mix. I'm probably at 1/6 of the ratio of the nutrients in the Coots mix at this point. So that's probably a little bit due to, or a little bit of the reason why I was dealing with the deficiencies. But even so, it was simple enough to beat out with a few little top dress and, some foliars. Little kelp, little alfalfa, little neem, good to go.
Yeah, you
all right, guys,
bring up a good point about the foliar. I also want to say one real quick thing about the foliar spraying and deficiencies. Yeah. Man, it's a really good way to what's going on in your root zone. Sometimes the worst thing you can do is be hasty and fucking start dumping shit into your root zone. So, a foliar spray is a really good way to deliver nutrients, trace minerals and nutrients that you think the plant's needing or lacking, or that they're not accessing properly via the root zone. You can deliver those to the leaves, and there's actually a 90% efficiency of absorption as opposed to like 40 or something from the root zone. So foliar is highly suggested, and then you should try stuff like a really strong earthworm casting tea. are really known as a foliar to help kind of repair, get the root zone repaired. And this is even for conventional guys that are using like bottled organics or whatever. This isn't just no-till. And one more thing on what Blunthumb talked about, the size of containers. Monopolize the time here.
Take your time.
Okay, cool. The smaller, I wanted to just give an analogy for container size and stability of your plants. If any of you have kept aquariums, I used to keep saltwater kind of mini reef, like nano reef saltwater aquariums and stuff, which is like 5 gallons and less. You deal with aquarium situations like with aquariums, we like to think of ourselves, we're not really fish keepers, we're water keepers, right? We really try to keep that water accurate. And so in cultivation, especially in no-till, we're not really growers or soil keepers. And in a small container, like a 1 gallon aquarium with your fish and you know, other living things happening in there, and evaporation and temperature swings, your system can be very, very unstable really quick because you have less of a volume of water to buffer kind of the fish waste and other things that are happening. So you can have a way more stable tank in a 100-gallon tank than you will in a thought process with containers. You know, if you have a gallon container, a microlife is contained to that 1 gallon container, and your chances of systemic crashes are going to be a lot higher because you might accidentally fucking dry out, overwatered and flushed all your biology out the bottom of your plant. So there's definitely something to, you know, stability with larger pots, and I'll just leave it there.
No, yeah, I think I've definitely heard that same analogy before, and I think it's a great analogy about the fish tanks. I mean, if you can just imagine, like, if you're working in your fish tank, and let's say you got a 5 gallon fish tank, and you got a 100 gallon fish tank, you accidentally drop a cap full of bleach in your 1 gallon fish tank, your fish are dead. You know what I'm saying? In that 150 gallon fish tank, you might be a little better off. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot more wiggle room, a lot more room for error. You know what I'm saying? And like he said, just different waste products that are going on. It's definitely the same thing with plants. I think that's a great analogy.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind, Wookiee.
Yeah, shoot.
For Joshua Steelins and Steenslin, sorry about that, and Blunthumb. So I run Super Soil, and you know, they talk about letting it break down for 6 to 8 weeks before you use it. In your guys' opinion, do you think that there's a faster way to break that down by continually adding the microbes? If I were just to mix it up right away and then use it right away, but then keep inoculating with the microbes, would you think it would break down, or do you think it needs that, I guess, that composting period, I guess it would be, for everything to break down and stuff?
When you do the super soil mix, do you take it to the, what is it, mesothermic level? Or no, what temperature do you take it to?
No, I don't go by temperature. I mean, that might be there's no steam coming out of it, nothing like that. I guess like a compost pile. But
so they don't worry about temperature in it, then I would assume, yeah. But if they worry about temperature, then that would be.
I have heard him use the word cook before, so I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about. I think he's talking about that, you know, it needs to get hot so it can all break down. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, well, like for instance, when you're composting, it goes through a couple different stages, and for instance, it's like the first stage ends somewhere around, I want to say 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and then the next stage ends somewhere around 170 degrees, something like that, but or 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and like that's the point that you want to take compost to when you're hot composting, and that will take care of most bacterial diseases, viral diseases, seeds, etc., etc. But I don't know if they do that same type of process with super soil or not.
Josh, didn't you use super soil before?
Yeah. I'm kind of in agreement. I mean, Blunthumb he's right. Like, it just depends on how hot your biomass is going to get, because if you add like a traditional subcools recipe that calls for a lot of ingredients, and that fucker gets hot, man. I've made a batch of it. And I imagine at certain points in the time during that cook, you're just gonna kill off your biology by adding it to it. So I really think that what you super soil and the amounts are gonna play a role, but I would cautiously say that if you use a IMO or some kind of really good high quality microbial situation post, or pre-cook before it gets all crazy, that it might be worth a shot to give it a shot and see. But my understanding of the super soil is that it really needs that cook so you don't end up frying your shit.
That's what I thought, and I have, I have seen that too. I've actually done it, so okay, cool. Thank you guys, Blunt and Josh. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Word. Well, I'd like to move on a little bit here to a couple of the other things we wanted to talk about. I think next on the list here is kind of the molds and mildews. I guess we can talk. We talk a little about powdery mildew. It's always a hot subject, and at least where I'm at, we're kind of getting out of that cold season, so everybody's kind of starting to exhale a little bit. But what kind of experiences do you guys have? I guess we'll start with powdery mildew. Anybody ever got the PM?
Want me to start?
Sure.
Okay. It's been a while ever since I switched to a sealed room, 80% sealed. I'm just going to call it sealed. Damn it. Ever since I switched to a sealed room, I haven't had any problems at all. I have had powdery mildew. I mean, some of my first indoor grows, it looked like it was snowing in there. I mean, it was pretty bad. I didn't know what I was doing. But I ran into a product called Organicide, and it just seems like that. I mean, if you have like a crazy breakout, I don't know if that might take care of everything, but I have plants outside of my house that get powdery mildew, and this is probably going on the 3rd year I've been living here, and every time I hit them, it's just gone. And I've even gone out there and sprayed one leaf, and that one leaf is completely gone, and the rest of the plant still has it. So as far as like powdery mildew goes, that's some of my experiences with it. I haven't really had any kind of like mildew issues though. Actually, I kind of had a little bit of I have my dehumidifier sitting up on a stand, and it leaks down into it's like a 20 or 30 gallon tote, and I used to have to switch it out so much that now I get probably a good month before I got to switch it out, and I just kind of let it slip my mind, and it filled up the tote, and it started kind of just dripping a little bit off the tote and went underneath. And I go in my room and I just smell this. I mean, Wookiee described it perfectly. It was like a dirty sponge. It smelled like a dirty sponge. And so I went in there, cleaned everything up. I cranked the dehumidifier even lower, down to like 40, 30, 35, in case there was some moisture lurking in the room. And sure enough, it was just it was between my reservoir and between my plastic underneath. And when I lifted it up, I didn't see any mold there, but the smell was damn sure there. And also, I've had it underneath one of my super soil pots too. It was like the pot was stuck to the plastic, and it hadn't moved around for so long. And then when I went to go move it, just this disgusting smell came out from underneath it, and I had to take the pot and bleach the bottom, and or get it all cleaned up. So that's the only really experience I've had with it.
You have any like magical cures for PM or anything? Anybody?
I just swear by Organicide.
I've heard neem is a very good preventative. I mean, I spray neem like I fucking drink water. Like I've been spraying neem for so long. I really think that has attributed, just the lack of powdery mildew in my garden. It's just that I spray so much neem. Maybe that, systemically helping them some way. I don't know. Maybe someone else knows something about neem that it prevents powdery mildew. Has anyone heard that?
It should.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that it boosts the overall immune system of the plant as well, which kind of just helps to prevent powdery mildew. But yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I use it, so I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say if it's preventing it or not when you don't get it, but yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know. It's hard to say if it's prevented it or not because I just use it so much.
As long as you're not getting
years
it.
now.
Yeah, as long as you're not getting it, you're doing something right. Don't change nothing. But I got PM kind of like my first grow when I started growing again. When I got out of the Army, I started growing again, and I got my first grow right out the gates. I got fucked really bad PM. And I don't know, it was during the winter. You know, like I think like I'm the same way as SoCal. There's plants outside that have it. You can see it. They're covered in it. And I don't know. That's kind of my theory was it got brought in. I mean, I got dogs, you know what I'm saying? I grow in my house. Dogs spread shit everywhere. They brush up against those plants. I mean, so
there are different species of PM that affect different plants though. So it's not like every plant that has PM could potentially fuck up your cannabis plant. From my understanding, I could be wrong, but
I still avoid them like the plague. I mean, I'm not. I see a plant with PM, or I just even when I'm out walking the dogs and shit, I'm like I'm staying away from everything, bro. I don't want to brush up against nothing.
Plant. Your overall plant health is going to play a huge role, and I know this is kind of it's like a duh thing, but it really. If your vapor pressure deficit is off, or you're too dry and your plant is just passing water through the leaf surface constantly in the day because it's trying to fill the vacuum, you're destroying the lipid layer on the leaves, and you're leaving space available for powdery mildew to attach. And inversely, if you're too moist and moisture is now backing up inside your plant and then seeping out, it's deteriorating your lipid layer and creating the perfect condition for the powdery mildew to attach onto the leaf. So a vapor pressure deficit, of course, one of those buzz things that people might even be getting sick of hearing about. But it really, if you are on your VPD, your lipids on your plants are going to be such an impenetrable barrier that you could introduce powdery mildew to a room and it just won't take a hold onto those plants. And so that's a big factor to consider. A lot of you guys that are saying that you've just never had powdery mildew, if you've been growing sufficiently to keep your lipids upright, you're just not gonna experience it. I've said this before and it's caught me some heat, but powdery mildew is nature's cleanup crew. It's fucking everywhere. It's like roundworms and puppies, you know, like you're just not going to get around it. And your best preventative maintenance is to make sure your environment is on lock. And I'm going to say this again, and I'll fucking say it over and over again because people will just continue to disagree with me. But if your genetics are shit, you know, your plant's going to suffer. Your plant health will suffer. It will not have a water vapor transfer like it should, and it'll be more susceptible.
That's what I was going to say. Genetics play a role in this as well, right? Like, I mean, some strains are more susceptible to it than others, right?
Huge. Yeah, I mean, I know that Grandmaster level, me and him had a little kind of tit for tat about it the first time I said it, so he might have something to say.
I think he's having problems.
Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry about that. I was just finishing dinner. No, I just don't think that, well, there was a couple different things. There was one thing that people were saying it's systemic, which I don't think it is. That would mean I would have it. I know maybe it wasn't you that said that, Joshua, but you're saying throwing away your genetics, because I've seen Death Bubba sorry, is the audio working?
Yep. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, sorry. I've seen lots of people with the Death Bubba get mildew, tons of times. I can't even count so many times. So if that was the case, if what you're saying is true, that would mean that the strain isn't good. That's why I kind of thought that I don't think throwing away the genetics, I think it's environment, and you have to correct your environment. That's just my personal opinion.
I think there may have been a slight misunderstanding, or maybe I didn't explain myself properly, but if everybody had, like if somebody got powdery mildew when they were with a Bubba Kush strain, that everybody who has Bubba Kush should throw it out, because every cut's going to have that phenotype variance, and that person might have a cut that's just not up to snuff. And so if their environment is on lock and everything else is good, which was maybe what I didn't make clear, is that that I think you should look at your genetics as a last resort if your room is dialed. If your environment is dialed and everything is on point in that regard, and you're still getting powdery mildew, that's when I would say consider your genetics. And the particular genetics you have on hand, because the Bubba Kush or whatever I may have, you know, it might be different from the Bubba Kush that you have. So I certainly wouldn't say that anybody who has that strain needs to throw it out. But
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, was that you that said it was systemic? Because someone like I talked about it, and people were like, I had a lot of people try to tell me on my like on my channel that it's systemic, and I truly don't not believe it is. If it was, that would mean that all my plants have it. Like every strain I grow had it. Because at one point,
we know it's not systemic, right? Because if it was systemic, that would mean that like if you had it on a leaf over here, that it could travel through the stems, through the xylem and the phloem, and make it to this leaf over here, and the whole plant has it.
But was that you, Joshua, that said that, or was that somebody else? I could be confused. That's why
I don't believe I said that powdery mildew was systemic.
Oh, okay. No, I was just curious. So I know other people, like there's one of my episodes where I had multiple comments, people trying to tell me that and saying it's systemic, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And I was just saying, well, if it is, like, because my plants would all have mildew, is what I'm getting at. If it was systemic,
right? Yeah, I think that's a common misconception, and I'll admit that, you know, maybe 10 years or so ago, I felt that way, that I didn't quite understand how powdery mildew worked. And I was a hydroponic guy. So in my head, I internalized everything into the plant. So I think it's a really common misnomer for folks. And there's a lot of fucked up information on the internet, as we all know. So I systemically know, like, as far as inside the plant, but as far as every room having powdery mildew in it, and just whether or not your plants or your environment is conducive to perpetuating it. So that's my opinion, is that powdery mildew is just fucking everywhere. It's unavoidable, and it's whether or not your room conditions and your plant health are as such to where you can avoid the physical manifestation of it.
That's kind of how I heard it too. I heard that the spores are everywhere. It's whether you're going to give it that environment to where it can come out of dormancy and reproduce and stuff like that. And like you were saying, I didn't know that. That was really interesting what you're saying about that low humidity. You know, you can still get the powdery mildew because you got the water running through the veins of the leaves and everything all day long. So that's something I didn't know. That's pretty cool. Your leaf
ends up becoming like a piece of paper. Yeah, your leaf's just like a bare piece of paper at that point, because the water just won't let the lipids build up.
Yeah, another thing too is, like, I've been in my room before and I've seen like 45% humidity, and I'm like, you know, I'm good to go. But then you get into that canopy and say I didn't clean the underneath out very much, and I don't have good enough air circulation. You get those two leaves, you know, that are like the one folded on the other one, and then you move it, and all night long that, you know, those leaves are cold, and then that light turns on, you get that heat, and you get the condensation, and then it just looks like, you know, there's something right there. Anytime if I ever see that, immediately I cut it out and just get it out, because you just never really know, you know. And I haven't seen it since I've kept up on my defoliating and up my air circulation. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Air circulation on the canopy is key, especially at night.
Yeah, and back to talking about you know, whether or not it's something in the genetics. I've definitely seen, and it's been documented on, you know, on forums, on YouTube and otherwise, where I've seen people that have, you know, one room, small rooms. I've seen it in a couple big rooms too, where they have, you know, the complete same conditions in one room, and this strain, you know, strain A over here is completely infested with powdery mildew, and strain B is fine. And, you know, they're in the same room, they're in the same lighting conditions. Everything, you know, should tell us that these ones have it. Everything should have it. But you've seen multiple strains in one room where some are infected with it and some aren't. So that definitely tells me that there are some, you know, some strains that are more susceptible to it for sure.
Yeah, and if you got an unstable cross, like, you got a lot of guys that are passing off these funky ass fucking single cross bullshit, you know. They think that because they can randomly cross something, that they're all of a sudden they're geneticists. It's really frustrating, because that's how a lot of this inferior kind of genetics is coming about. I hate to sound like a fucking eugenicist, but, you know, we've really got to take stewardship of this plant and make sure that we're crossing. We can't just cross shit willy-nilly, you know, and then that's what's happening is that it's so easy to just create seed and then sprout them again, but you're not creating stable genetics if you're not taking the time to, vet and cross back into it. It's a freaking process. A good buddy of mine used to breed for DNA, and it took a long time to stabilize genetics. And so I think, we as a community have to really flush out these fucking bunk ass seed, single cross seed breeders and stuff that are, just kind of flooding the market with this, because they're literally diluting our plant one funky ass cross at a time.
That's true, man. I totally agree with that statement.
Is that a cookie, GML? You eating a cookie over there? What's that?
No, that's some rosin that isn't her grow made.
Nice.
That's the Death Bubba?
Yeah, it's got a really nice color. I'm just trying to get it under light.
All right. As far as on the same topic here, we're talking about molds. I don't have any experience with it myself, but has anybody had any experience dealing with botrytis or bud rot?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've definitely had bud rot outdoors when the plant's not rained on during harvest season, for sure.
Word.
Hello. Yeah, I don't really know, how to get. I mean, I don't even think there's a way to get rid of it. Honestly, I think you're just kind of battling the weather at that point.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
definitely. Oh, go ahead, Blunt. What was you saying?
if you're talking outdoors, the only way to battle it is to grow better strains or cut it out as soon as you see it.
Right. Yeah. Or,
So
you try to, there's different things that you can spray that kind of build up in the plant to kind of prevent it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not it's not nothing guaranteed. You know what I'm saying?
Cutting it out, I think, is really good advice, because I've actually seen when you have bud rot, I've seen a plant get it because the stem got kinked, and for whatever reason, it made it rot when no other plants in the room were even close to finished. I cut it right out, and there was no rot all the way till it finished. So I think that's really important to cut it out right away, because that stuff can spread like fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're saying in the chat.
It's definitely something that can spread then, right? I mean, I've just never dealt with it, and I've read a little bit about it, but it's it's definitely something that can spread throughout the whole crop, right?
Easily.
Oh yeah, and quickly.
Very easily. Yes.
Yes. How y'all doing?
People in the chat are talking about caterpillars causing bud rot, and yeah, they're horrible for fucking causing bud rot. So if you see caterpillars, get them the fuck off your plant.
DC Pharma, what's up, man?
I just wanted to bring up that
my microphone working?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what's up, man? How you doing?
Now go ahead, continue. I just wanted to make sure my mic was working, y'all. Go ahead, continue. I didn't want to break up the conversation. But I did have bud rot before, and I thought I had a purple strain.
Oh, shit.
I broke it open. It was purple in the inside. I thought I had a purple strain until somebody told me better.
I was just going to say, you can trigger it while watering the plants while they're wet very fast. Like, you literally can trigger it in 24 hours. If I've seen it happen personally. So I can't say that for all strains, but the bigger the buds are, the easier it's going to get it from my experience.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. You water the wrong time in flower, late in flower, you double up on your waterings. If that's how you're doing it, you fucking ask them for it.
I would personally disagree in terms of bud size being a major contributor, because, for instance,
really,
it depends. Because, for instance, last year I grew some ghost train haze outside along with a bunch of other things, and the ghost train haze by far was throwing the biggest colas, and those were the least affected by the bud rot as well, because it's sativa heavy. In terms,
were those when you say big buds, were they 2-liter bottle size buds, or how would you describe them and how big? Because I'm talking
propane tank size.
Oh wow.
I don't know, but that's smaller than a 2-liter bottle, but okay.
Oh, I thought
was that
5-gallon protein tank? I'm like, God damn, dude, what the fuck?
I think barbecue or fucking 5 gallon.
I don't know, the ones I fucking do dabs with.
I got you.
It was the first thing I was looking at. but yeah, and then like for instance, like the things that I have that are like more, you know, like I have one like Master Kush cross that I run outside that every year the top coal is fucking bud rot straight through, and like they're smaller but they're more dense and it's just more susceptible to it than some of the haze dominant shits.
I should have said that I was also talking about indoor too, because I just don't have it very much experience outdoor. The 2 years I did it massively, I failed big time. So
Yeah, the only experience I had with it, we had an outdoor plan, and I didn't know anything about it at the time. And the reason why we missed it is because I guess it starts closer to the stem, so you really got to open up those buds to really get in there and take a look at it. I guess so. Yeah, by the time that I had seen it on the outside, the inside was just really bad. So.
Yeah, the only time that I've seen it indoors, it was actually on the blueberry, just like one top nug, and it was very slight, but it was right after a humidity spike. So
yeah, the Mendo Dope boys, they walk around their plants and they grab them and they just grab a nodule off and they open it and they look inside and they go all around, just open it up and then they put that back and,
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can kind of go down to the final area of this topic and just talk a little bit about, self-inflicted issues or grower inflicted issues, which we kind of ran down these a little bit and talked about, things like overwatering, underwatering, maybe some wind burn, some light burn, just things that we can cause ourselves in the grow room. I know GML, you said you had a lot of things you could say about overwatering. You want to kind of break it down for us and, what you see and what you do about it?
Wookiee, I'm actually just on a phone call. Can you skip to someone ahead of me? Sorry, it's for my father. Thanks.
No problem. How about you? Anybody else, as far as watering, overwatering or underwatering, what have you guys seen in your rooms? I'd be super curious to hear about hear from the no-till guys too. I know you guys say there's usually no runoff. How much do you water? How do you know when to water again?
My room is run off blue mat drippers. So if you're not familiar with those, they're little ceramic probes that you kind of prehydrate and you soak them in water, and so they've kind of retained like a memory, a moisture memory with that hydration, and then you put them into your beds when they're as moist as you want them. And in no-till, you want your beds evenly moist. You never want that top layer to dry out. You never want it to be overly watered. You want to grab a handful of it and be able to squeeze just the smallest drop as hard as you can. Just a drop comes out, you're good. And what that does, that facilitates that microbial process. So everything's good. So this blue mat drippers will sense when the soil moisture starts to dip, and it will start to dry up. That ceramic cone will start to dry up, and then it'll open up the drip manifold and it'll allow water through. So it requires no power, no pumps. It's all gravity fed, and it just monitors the soil. I've got 8 of them in each of my beds, and there's drippers running to the middle. You could check out, I got a video on my YouTube channel. It shows you how I set it up. So there's never, unless you mess up and open up one of those valves, and it runs out, then you'll have a runoff situation. But I've never have intentional runoff. I've had a couple accidental ones where I've opened up a valve on the blue mat and it just kind of flooded out while I was gone. So it's easy for us. Yeah, just keep it moist.
I know. Yeah, for me, I think of overwatering maybe a little different than other people. I don't think you can overwater in one watering. I mean, you might be giving them more than you should, but it's not going to kill the plant. I think if your soil or your cocoa or whatever is only going to hold so much moisture, and then it's going to run it off to the bottom of the pot and out of the pot. So if you give it tons of water, and say you give a 2-gallon pot of soil 20 gallons of water, it's only going to hold so much, and the rest is going to come out the bottom. that medium will dry out and the plant will more than likely be just fine. To me, overwatering is watering too much for a long period of time to where you're just never allowing any oxygen in that root zone. And then that's when you notice the plant just dying and, you know, your root zone, you know, having all kinds of deficiencies and stuff like that. So watering over a longer, you know, too much over a long period of time, to me, is overwatering, not necessarily watering too much at one time. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Like you're basically saying if it doesn't ever get dry, ever, the plants can't do its proper process.
Yeah, I mean, he'll flush. You know, when you're flushing your soil, you know, you flush. I mean, it kind of depends on how you do it. But a lot of people, they flush a ton of water through the pot, as opposed to just giving it water and leaching it out over time. You know, and so if you run a bunch of water through that pot, you know, your plant will be okay. You just have to let it go, let it, you know, let that pot dry out. But if you're continually watering too much every single time, you just never get a chance for oxygen to get in that soil. So that's really where you're going to be running into problems, not necessarily overwatering one time or two times.
I'd have to agree with you on that. Like the biggest problem I've seen in the larger scale grows that I've been involved in, when they're failing, it's because they're getting watered too early is usually the biggest problem I've seen. And it's hard to kind of figure it out if you're not there and watching it, because the plants still stay healthy and green and look good. They just don't get as big of buds. And, oh, sorry, am I muted?
No, you're coming through.
Yeah.
No, we hear you. Oh, okay. No, I saw you talking at the same. I saw SoCal talking, so I was getting confused. I see that as the hugest problem, is watering when it's wet. And like when I've tried to help other people, and like I've actually corrected problems where they were literally getting a pound of light and gotten it up to almost 2, like literally consistently, because what he was doing is say he had plans and wants to do something, well, he'd go in there and water it 14 hours before it was ready to be watered. And if you keep on doing that over and over, it just slowly goes downhill. And this is just from my experience. I'm not talking about no-till either, by the way.
Yeah, because if if you're not seeing your plants stand up, I think it was NV Closet was talking about if you have that right amount of I think like carbon. I don't know. I don't want to misspeak and say, but if you have that right amount of watering and everything is good and that plant is happy, you have the right amount of oxygen to air ratio, you're going to see your plant stand up more. And that's why a lot of times when you first water your plant, you see it droop a little bit, but then as it starts to go a little bit and it starts to get that balanced ratio, your plants start to stand up, and they start to just be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Whether you growing no-till or whatever your method may be, I think your environment plays a very important role on how you also water your plant as well. So there's something also to keep in mind.
Yeah, if you're having like a high humidity, you're saying you're going to water less, and then if you have like a low humidity, you're going to water. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Because I understand we all try to follow a schedule that's written on the paper and all that, like water twice a week or so. But you also have to keep in mind that your environment when you're watering as well. Sometimes you have to veer off from your notes or the papers that you have according to the situation, at hand at the moment. So sometimes that's why we tend to overwater in our gardens, because we're following the schedule on the paper when we don't need to water sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to follow an exact schedule. You have to let them go by the plants, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When you try to follow an exact schedule and do it every certain days, that's when you'll encounter problems, from my experience. You kind of have to work around the plants. At least that's what my experience has been.
I think Wookiee be a little different though. I think his system kind of relies on scheduling. Like he relies on those 3 waterings a day. Yeah, and then the watering at night. So yeah, but like people, you're right though. I mean, if you got somebody who's a soil grower and they're like, I'm watering every 2 days, and this is my schedule, right? But what if that day is a little more humid, more humid or whatever, or your plant's not uptaking as much? I mean, you have to kind of go by your plant. You can't really go by your schedule. I agree.
See, that's one of the reasons why I like the sub-irrigated planters, especially for new growers, because it totally bypasses the whole having to learn what like keeping it at perfectly watered is. Every day you go in and you fill it until it runs off. Boom. You know, like, and the planter does the rest of the work.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's pretty cool. You see those square ones I posted? The square earth boxes?
I didn't see them, but I'm sure they were just the root and veg ones. I was at the store, like the local Agway the other day, and they were there for like $60 a piece, and I was like, fuck that.
That's what these are. The reason why there's so much is because these hydro stores, when they get an account from Earthbox, when they send them, you have to buy, there's like 2 or 3 nutrients that they include with it, and they try to tell them, you know, keep those nutrients out so we can keep it at a better price point. But there's 2 bags of nutrients that actually comes with the Earthbox that they're selling you too. It marks it up.
I don't know. All I know is that I could get it for $30 a piece online and ship for way less than what it would cost in the difference. So
yeah, because those 2 or 3 bags of nutrients aren't in there. I was wondering too. I asked my hydro store, like, yeah, you have to buy these. Like, well, I won't even use them, you know.
What do you know? What was with it? Was it the Grokashi and something else?
I don't remember it being Grokashi. I can't remember what it was, to be honest with you. I kind of want to say it was something with some type of a pH balancer, and then some type of I think it was like a vermiculite or something like that to help aerate the soil or something like that.
Word.
I think Wookiee took a pee break or something.
No, I'm still here. Sorry about that. Looking at our my notes here, I think that's pretty good. A pretty good spot to kind of wrap it up here. I mean, does anybody have anything final they want to add on the topics?
Yeah, I'm not on the topics. I'm sorry for being late, y'all. I got a real good reason, and I want to send a shout out to DC Super Cropper. I finally had my first dab, thanks to him.
Nice.
And I kind of was stuck a little bit. I know the show started at 10. And I was racing back from the other side of town. So I was like, man, I got to make the show, man. They changed the date, and I got to make the show today. So, you know, thanks to DC Super Cropper, I was late, but I still made it. And thank y'all for having me on here again.
Nice.
Oh, what's up, man? No problem.
That's what's up, DC.
And another point, man, from my first dab, I see the difference. I definitely see the difference. I tasted the turpentine and all that good stuff.
Turpentine.
I hope you didn't taste these turpentines.
Them tarpines.
Yeah, I'm still on it, y'all. But yeah, it was definitely a different flavor and a different mix, man, and it was a nice experience, man.
Nice.
Word, that's what's up.
Only thing I have, Wookiee's a shout out, maybe a couple of them, but one is to Cannabis Grow Life. Him and I are going to do a little thing together. You'll see it coming up on the channel, and he's also giving away a light. It's a 300-watt LED light, and it looks like I'll probably say it wrong.
It's the one you were showing me, right? It's a Viper Spectra, right?
Yeah. So go over to Cannabis Grow Life. Go to his Instagram, and he's probably got the Gleam link there. But if not, you can go over to his YouTube channel, and yeah, I think it's a 300 subscribers giveaway, but I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, another LED light giveaway. So
word.
Yeet. That's dope.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to the other grow streams and anybody who's working with us. You know, it's pretty cool that, you know, we have as many people watching, even though there's another stream going on. And, you know, I don't know if things just got mixed up or what, but, you know, all these streams, we kind of need to work with each other. You know, Trichome chasers want to have that Sunday spot, you know, so whatever we got to do to work with the other streams, just let us know. You know, I mean, we're here. We want to take Sunday. So.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I didn't know there was another stream going on, but that's fine. We, like I said, we're here.
Yeah,
we're all the same community. I think it's great. All the streams are only benefiting each other.
Yeah,
we had a good viewership
watching them all.
We had a good,
and it's enough knowledge to go around for everyone. You know, like I noticed that you know, I see a few people get upset about certain things and stuff, but I think things like that we really can't, you know, put too much thought into it. You know, we just gotta keep doing what we're doing. You know, it's a lot of knowledge from everybody out there, and I think this is a good stream, and it's definitely gonna kick off. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who donated tonight. For real, that shit.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Warmed my heart, you know.
that's amazing.
To anybody that's just tuned in,
Wookiee, your mic is screwing up again, heavy.
Oh, thank
For
you,
me, at
Gmail.
least. No problem. Yeah, do you know what? I've seen so many people with that. That looks like a real serious controller for that mic, man. Looks tough.
Yeah, it's, the $70 USB mic is working better, so we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
If you guys haven't checked out GML stream too, I want to thank him too for letting me be on a stream on Friday. That was pretty cool. Was it start at 5 GML on Friday?
It's 5 p.m. on Fridays. It's before the roundtable, and it shuts down before the roundtable starts. Also,
cool.
Yeah, and you know, I just go over my weekly update and take live questions, and I have lots of guests on the panel, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I enjoyed having you on the show last week.
Yeah, and your friend, your mod on there, Surrounded by Keith, he seemed like a cool guy too. I've been watching some of his stuff.
Yeah, no, and he likes to interview anybody that has anything to do with marijuana and seeds, anything, share their experiences. No, it's really nice. I really like doing the live streams, and I think it's the best way to interact with people taking live questions, because I can rewind the video or put it to the exact second of the video and really point something out or discuss a topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you get to show your beautiful garden too.
Yeah, at least if it's looking beautiful.
Just don't show it right after you defoliate. Maybe like.
Oh, I do. I show it.
I'm only kidding.
I just can't wait to meet a lot of you people. If we ever meet up at the cups and stuff, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, DC, bring some of those gummy bears, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Some of those gummy bears.
Have that ice cream.
Oh yeah.
I saw that ice cream too, man. That looked good.
How does this sound, guys? Sound any better?
A little bit low.
All right, I did. As long as my mic sounded better, I did want to reiterate for everybody that just kind of popped in that we have the super chat open tonight, and all the donations that are made in the super chat are going to our friend and Trichome chaser and longtime supporter Venom grower. He ran into a tough situation with his family that we want to help support him, and I'll go ahead and read kind of the summary that he sent me over today, just for anybody that didn't hear it earlier about what's going on. He said, our daughter was hit by a car at 50 miles an hour on February 4th, 2017. She had a spinal injury in her neck that requires her to wear a C-collar for a minimum of 4 months. She broke both femurs, both wrists, and tibia and fibia on her right leg. It lacerated her liver and completely dislodged her gallbladder. She had a brain bleed and a temporal cranial fracture on the right side. She still is struggling to recover, and she has caregivers now that we have to pay to care for her. So that's kind of the situation, with Venom. He's our homie, and we want to help support him however we can. So we kind of opened up the super chat tonight to, give you guys the opportunity to support him as well if you'd like to. It's kind of, drop in a donation if you want to. If not, kind of, no problem. Just maybe share the stream, get the word out for anybody else that wants to help out. We'll also be doing raffles or auctions rather on Instagram for different things, like probably some beans, maybe a couple other things too. But if you let's say if anybody has any beans, that they maybe want to donate for the auction, that'd be great. I would suggest contacting Blunt or myself or anybody on Instagram. Anybody here on the panel will be able to point you in the right direction, and we'll get that coordinated. But that's where the super chat is. That's why it's open tonight. We've never taken donations before, but we felt compelled to help out our homie. Somebody's in our community has been in the chat every week, week in and week out. I don't think he's here tonight. He's traveling, but he's he's a long time Trichome chaser. So that's where they're going.
Nice. He'll appreciate that, and I'm sure that'll help. That'll go a long way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to everybody that donated early in the stream. I mean, I'm blown away, man. I really am blown away. The community coming together and doing that. I'm not sure exactly. I didn't count how many donations were dropped, but it's pretty insane. But if anybody, if we don't have anything else here, I think I want to open it up to a couple questions. If there's any questions from the chat, you know, on or off topic, maybe start dropping those in right now. For any, you know, collective panel members or any individual panel member, definitely drop those questions in the chat, and we'll try to we'll get to those real quick before we cut out tonight. I see a $4.20 donation from Mr. Marduber. Thank you very much, Mr. Marduber.
Thanks, brother. Oh, jeez, Josh.
Is that another?
And I'm going to do a donation. I just don't know the 3 digits on the back of my credit card. So I'll definitely do it later for sure.
Hey, GML, I'm doing the same thing, so that way YouTube don't take a cut of it. I'm just gonna send it to Wookiee.
Joshua Steen's.
Oh, I didn't even know they take a cut of it. They do?
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube does take a cut of it. They do take a cut of it, but I you know, I heard Subcool talking about this the other night, and it sucks. It's like a 30% cut. But
what?
Yeah, but you got to realize here is that YouTube is giving us this platform
right,
to collect, you know, to collectively and anonymously donate this money. You know what I'm saying? To bring it together. True. I mean, if I had to get everybody's emails and PayPal information and sort this out, I mean, it would be unbelievable how the logistics of it. So I know it's kind of a hit, but yeah, YouTube does take a cut.
For sure. Well, I can just email transfer you guys at least for him, just to help for a little more. But yeah, that's awesome.
On the note of that 420 donation, I vote a little dab for everybody, or a little bong rip, something.
Word. And Joshua, thank you. I think that's a second $100 donation from Joshua, man. Thank you very much.
And we were wondering why you left. It was to get $100 to donate. Damn, you're a nice guy.
And you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh shit! Word. Finally.
Oh shit.
No, I just wanted to say I appreciate everybody who donated tonight for Venom, man, and his daughter and his family. You know, I really appreciate that. The whole Trichome Chasers family appreciate that, and I know Venom and his family is gonna appreciate it. And yeah, like Wookiee said, we're gonna have a couple of seed either auctions or raffles, and we'll have all the details of that coming up soon on the Instagram and also on our YouTube pages as well. So if you guys are looking for some really good genetics and you guys want to, you know, put some money down for a good cause, then look out for these auctions. But definitely want to say thank you to everybody who came out and watched the show tonight. You know what I'm saying? We definitely had a good show tonight, good turnout. We appreciate all your support, and you know.
And those auctions won't have a 30% fucking portion coming out of it.
Yeah, those
Right.
auctions won't. There won't be any cut coming out of the auctions, but you know, I see a couple people that are pretty upset that YouTube's taking a cut, and I understand the frustration. I understand that you may not want to donate, you know, using YouTube, but you know, it is what it is. I feel like it's a really good platform and a really good service they're providing to us. To, you know, giving us this anonymous donation. You know, you don't have to give me any of your credit card information. YouTube handles it all. So
most definitely,
it's definitely worth it to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna continue to do stuff like this. We're gonna continue to do charity stuff, man. That's what we're about.
Absolutely. Helping others, man.
That's what's up. Yep. Well, I don't see too many questions. Oh no, I do see one. Nitro Nomad's asking, any of the panel with a 315 CMH notice the ballast running much hotter than an HPS ballast? I don't have any experience with 315s. Anybody else have any?
I have one coming. Well, I don't have any experience with it yet.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything like that. I know most of these CMHs, like the Gross Choice, has the ballast mounted right on the side of the hood. I haven't heard anybody talking about the ballast getting real hot. If that's
I
a
actually
problem you're
thought they
having,
were
maybe you
supposed
can
to be
elaborate.
cooler.
Yeah, I thought that's exactly. I mean, it's only 315 CMH. I mean, what are you comparing it to?
The only thing I've really heard is people are asking about a bigger reflector.
And it's we talked about this before, and I you know, LED, when we were talking about LEDs, I'm sorry, LED watts and HPS watts, and the fact that a watt is a watt, and that you know, 400 watts of HPS is going to take the same amount of BTUs to cool as 400 watts of LED is 400 watts of CMH. So I don't see any reason why they would run any hotter. I would think if that's a problem you're having, that maybe it's a ballast issue, and I would get that checked out.
See,
Or it could be just depending on what size the
where were
area
you guys
is.
having that conversation though? Because I don't know if I've still not been able to like find out for 100% fact that that's
some
the
bad
case.
echo going on.
Because yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
Monsters at you, man?
But from my understanding of it, was the 3204 BTUs or whatever the number is a translation of 100% of electrical energy translated into heat energy. It would be that much BTUs needed to cool it. Now, when you're talking about LEDs versus HPS, more of the LED is going to be translated into light energy than heat energy, and thus it would be a lower BTU from my understanding. But you hear all these people throwing out that 3204 number or whatever the fuck the number is and saying that's the same for everything regardless. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an expert on it, and you know, that's something we could definitely hit. I hope we're gonna probably have Grow Mouse on the stream with us soon to talk about things like that, and hopefully he can elaborate for us. But I know he's talked about it recently on one of his streams and also on his channel, so I'd kind of refer anybody with the questions about that to his stream. But yeah, I don't know. To answer the question though, he's saying he's comparing his 315 CMH to a 600 HPS. I can't imagine that 315 CMH run hotter than a 600 watt AS, bro. If that's happening, there's something wrong.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, 600 watt HPS ballast. You're talking about the ballast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't run that hot. Not a 600 watt HPS ballast.
Actually, I'm gonna go and feel my 150 CMHs that I have.
Like my 1000 watters right now, you can my digital ballast. You can hold your hands on them.
That's a good point what Growmaster said right now. He said 30% is highway fucking robbery, but if we had to go to another site to donate during the stream, I'll bet you'd get 50% of the donations or less. It's a great point.
Good point. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a dollar sign right there at the bottom of the chat. You can click it. It's done. I'm not asking you to go to a different channel. I'm not giving you a link. They give us a really easily accessible platform here. That's why we're using it.
Yeah, we're paying 30% for convenience. Or I don't know, paying YouTube's taken, I should say.
So with that, I don't see a whole lot of questions in here left over here, but
we must be good.
Yeah, we must be covering it all. But you know, we're kind of been. I think that's a good place for us to stop. So definitely, you know, look for us here next Sunday. Check out everybody's channel. Subscribe to all the panelists here's channels. Lots of updates coming throughout the week, I'm sure. Go ahead, Blunt.
So the 150 is definitely warmer than the 600 watt. Well, I got 1000 watt Vita, but it's on 600. But I thought of a number of reasons as to why that would be. For instance, on mine at least, the 150 is directly above the bulb. The 600, the ballast is mounted to the side of the bulb. And also, since it's a 1000 watt Vita, that ballast has way more heat sinking than like is needed for when it's running at 600. So that would be a reason why I would be running cooler. So if all of those are the same reasons for in the other situation, that could be why.
Word. All right, guys. Well, that about wraps it up for this week. Definitely want to thank all the panelists for coming in. Thank you to the chat. Thank you again to everybody who donated.
Yeah, thanks.
All that stuff's going to go directly to Venom and benefit him and his daughter as they're going through a tough time. So thank you 1,000 times for the donations. And, you know, catch us next Sunday. Another stream, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. I suggest hitting that notification button. You know what I'm saying? And you can be notified anytime we decide to pop up a stream during the week. But same thing with all the channels. Sub up to everybody's channels. You never know when live streams are going to pop up. Stuff's going to be going on. Definitely check out the other great streams that are going on. You know, over there at Crazy Dago's channel with the GrowTube Roundtable. Subcool streaming all the time. Grow Mouse is streaming, I believe, next Saturday morning. Him and Green Jeans are doing bringing back the Tech Talk. So I believe that's
Gmail Friday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, as well. GML doing his streams Friday before the roundtable. There's so many, it's hard to keep track of them. But like I said, if you get those notifications set for the channels you know are going to be streaming, you don't even have to wonder. They just alert you when they pop up. So looking forward to all the streams this week. Thank you guys again, and we'll be seeing you guys here back next Sunday for sure. So peace.
It was good seeing everybody. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one, everyone.
Peace.
Thanks for coming through.